Very good evening, friends. On behalf of Readers and Writers Club, I take immense pleasure in inviting two very eminent ladies this evening, Miss Oindrilla Dutt, who will be in conversation with Alakananda Pramanik, and the conversation will revolve around Alakananda's book. Uh, the Melody of Hidden Symphonies. I won't take much time. Quickly, I will introduce these two fabulous ladies, and then I will hand it over to Oindrilla to take the conversation forward. So, Oindrilla Dutt, who is an arts and events curator and presenter, having presented events at heritage venues such as Raj Bhavan, Princep Memorial, Laskar Monument, Town Hall, etc. She has worked with renowned artists such as Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Amitabh Bachchan, Usha Utub, Malika Sarabhai, Bikram Ghosh, and Shubha Mudkar, Lilet Dubey, and many more. She has been a broadcaster and a moderator who has interacted with the late Yash Chopra, Mahesh Bhupathi, Jaya Bachchan, Malika Sarabhai, Shobha De, Smriti Irani, and others. Oindrilla is also a freelance writer, having written a book on the Kolkata police, columns for leading dailies such as The Telegraph and The Times of India, and articles for a variety of publications. Oindrilla is associated with several NGOs, such as the Indian Institute of Cerebral Palsy and the Calcutta Samaritans. She has her own organization named as Open Doors. Thank you so much, Oindrilla, for coming on board. A big thank you to you.
Thank you, Mona.
Thank you. Most welcome for coming
Especially
on.
for the introduction. She doesn't listen. She embarrasses me every time.
Not at all. This is the least we can do for you. Alakananda Pramanik is a best-selling author, storyteller, actor, speaker, and a multifaceted lady often referred to as Supermom. She has over 36 years of work experience and is currently a professional at an IT company. Olakananda also serves as the honorary vice president, strategic initiative of an e-learning platform, Solitaire. In addition, she's an expert storyteller with Success Psyche and a member of the Women's India Chamber of Commerce, WIKI, Public Safety and Security Council, the West Bengal chapter. Olakananda is one of the top recipients of the Woman Achiever 2020 award. Her biography, The Journey, a memoir of an emerged woman, has been published in the book Shining Divas 2020 by Literoma. She has also been honored with the Author Achiever 2020 award in Literoma's Achiever Awards 2020 and has also been featured in the cover story of Culture Flash International magazine in October 2020. Thank you so much, Olakananda, and I'm sure the viewers are going to have a fabulous time listening to both of you talking on the melody of hidden symphonies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mona. Thanks a lot for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you, Mona and Olakananda. Wonderful to be with you. There are so many things that we heard and we know. Author, IT professional, motivational speaker, actor, supermom, in quotes. Which of these descriptors fits you best and why?
I think, Oindrilla, first of all, I would like to thank you for, being speaking to me. It's such an honor to be with you and speak to you. Thanks to Mona and Shushrut, and thanks to our Readers and Writers Club, and thanks to all the audience for being here. Coming to your question, Oindrilla, I think I fit a lot into the role of a super mom, because the thing is,
How
pardon?
did that come about?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I realized that later. What happened is that during my life journeys, I had gone through a lot of struggles and a lot of challenges that I had faced, and I had gone into kind of depression. Everything looked absolutely dark, and when finally I looked up, I saw there were many smiling faces. People around me loved me. They looked up to me, and they probably saw something in me. They would come and tell me, you remind us of a mother, or there is something about you. Can we call you mom? And people started calling me, young and old. Even there are ladies who are hardly a few years younger to me. They would come and ask me, can we call you mom? And it's a really a pleasure, because they see me in the place of their mom, and if they had any kind of depressions, or they had some happy news, they would come to me and they will tell me, they'll share. I had my shoulder for them, and I felt, while listening to their stories, while taking them out of their depression, I forgot my own depression. People were calling me mom, mama, mother. So then rock star mom, because I'm very fond of music, and so I was called rock star mom and mother duck. So all the words that depict a mother, and ultimately I became super mom to so many, and I just feel it's wonderful. It's such a pleasure and such a blessing to have them come to me, Oindrilla, and that's how I got the name super mom.
So that's what you think is your best descriptor. Great.
Yes.
Uh, in this book, The Melody of Hidden Symphonies, you marry stories with practical advice and wisdom. What made you gravitate towards this style of writing first?
Yes. Okay. So let me tell you, first of
You
all, for the
like.
your voice.
I said, why is it that you write like this?
Okay. Yeah. I
Stories.
Yes, sure. So I'll say this, that this book which I have, basically it contains around 25 short stories, and you have seen there are around 40 inspirational quotes. Each and every story are different shades of life that somewhere somebody has lived and experienced, and they end with a very strong positive messages. Why I write it that way is because every person has some kind of experience in their life that is painted moment by moment. They are going through a lot of stress. They are going
Hmm,
through a lot of chaos. The life is chaotic. They are going through a lot of
hmm,
stress, and in this through this chaos and this stress, they have forgotten, or they have started overlooking the fact that
yeah,
their physical health depends vastly on their mental health. And there is no better person than an inspiring storyteller or an author who writes such stories to bring this radical change that ignites the element of wellness, because the storytellers, the authors have the power to bring life into words. And
yeah,
what happens is that people get influenced with stories, no matter their age, and they learn to visualize and manifest what it means to be happy, what it takes to get there. And being a master storyteller and also an author of such stories, and having seen the effect my stories and messages have uh, on the audience or the readers, I know that the positive impact I am able to leave on them. And also, we share stories to make sense to our world and share it in such a way that the readers can relate to it, make sense of it. It connects emotionally, it connects mentally, and the need of the hour is to reach out to people young and old consistently with
yeah,
the right stories and messages that they are able to connect to and transform their mindset to that of understanding, empathy, compassion, kindness, care, love, all that is positive. And as I said that, I had been, and right now I feel that I'm into a rebirth as an author. And what I feel is that my rebirth as an author is worthless if I cannot make use of my words to make a positive difference in people's life. And this is the reason why I have come up with this concept of marrying story with the right message.
And I love something. This book is full of your quotations, things
Yes,
that you have written. And one
yes,
of them I'm reading out now is life is like a musical instrument. The melody depends on how you play it.
yes,
And that really is goes with what you just talked about, that there are
yes,
different messages for different people who need help in different ways.
yes.
Now,
That is,
I also wanted to ask you, Alakananda, who is your target audience for this style of writing, which you have adopted in this book? Who's your
on
target audience? You have a specific
my,
target audience, an age group?
Oindrilla, my target audience is everybody.
Okay.
Everybody is going through stress because
Yeah.
life is such. These last 2 years have taught us, what it
Yeah.
is to fight for breath. We have seen that money doesn't save life. We will always remember people who have
In
helped us,
fact, yes.
isn't it?
We've
We'll
been
always
through an
remember.
apocalypse, absolutely.
Yes,
And
we
COVID
will.
has destroyed the world as we knew it forever.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
the basic message of SMS,
Yes,
sanitize, mask, socially distance yourself, they all seem to have been forgotten. And
yes,
the
that's
earth
right.
still needs time to heal itself. Now, you have repeatedly warned against the dangers of letting down our COVID guards in stories such as Better to Be Safe Than Sorry, Ignorance is Not Bliss, and more. Young lovers who are about to get married, who both lose their lives because they live life with abandon in these times. A family where the daughter is going to get married, the father dies. Now, with COVID on the rise, thank God not in India so far, outside, but who knows what will happen in a couple of months. What would you say to our listeners? Share that about COVID, about being careful with life itself.
Yes. I see. The thing is that COVID has brought all of us to one platform.
Mm, mm,
When COVID hit all of us, there was nobody rich, there was nobody poor. We were all at the same platform. We were all gasping for breath. We were
yeah,
we were praying to God for life, And all these years, people had been fighting ego. There was, there's
greed.
attitude, and there is such a lot of things which had been happening. But when we were all engulfed in COVID, we realized that we are nobody. I mean, we are just, what have we done to this world? What have we done to this environment? We have destroyed it. We are all facing natural calamities now. The virus came in, and it's like an invisible weapon which has hit us. We knew that there is something weapon lurking around the corner which can get us any moment. Government has been telling everyone again and again, take precautions, safe distance, mask. Many people followed that, many people didn't. People were gasping for breath. There were many people who took advantage of that. People were fighting for oxygen. They were being cheated. But ultimately, we have seen that COVID has also brought a sense of humanity in many people. People have learned to help each other, take care of each other. They have become more sympathetic, more compassionate, more empathetic towards others. And
It's brought
not
out
only
the
that,
best in us.
it's brought out the best.
Brought out.
And and not only that, when we were in the house, when we were locked in, we
Mm,
realized that the air quality had improved. We could see more birds chirping. We saw greener leaves. We could see stars in the sky. I remember when we were very small, during our growing up years, we could see clear sky. There used to be
yeah,
stars in the sky. But nowadays, the children, all they see is pollution and fog, and they hardly see a single star. And during this particular
mm,
period, when I remember that when we stepped out on the balcony, we were like, oh my God, I can see stars.
yeah.
So there are so many things, so many good things also which has happened. Maybe locally everything cleared, maybe not globally because the ships were still running, the oceans were still getting polluted. There were so many things. But ultimately, What is it? We all need to take care of each other. And to take care of each other, we need to take care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, how are we going to take care of others? Like if you think of the aircraft, I mean, you board a flight, you go anywhere. What do they tell you? First, you have to wear the oxygen mask, and then you help your
Yes,
neighbors, whoever's around you. That is
absolutely.
because what are they saying? First, you take care of yourself, keep yourself safe, then only you will be able to take care of others. So,
Mm,
this
mm,
COVID, this pandemic situation has taught us so much more. Yes, there were many who couldn't, but there is a lot more that we learned out of it, and people have uh, realize their passion, their capabilities, their dreams. They are able to pursue their dreams because earlier, what used to happen? People used to cry for time. They would say, "I have no time. I don't." They would not have time to take care of their parents, or call their parents, or play with their children, or maybe speak to their friends. Whenever you
yeah,
call them, they would say,
yeah,
"I'm so busy. I have no time. I have no time. I have no time." What happens? When we keep saying this, the universe is actually working, and the universe heard us.
yeah,
The universe gave us 24 hours on a platter all of a sudden and said, "Here, take 24 hours and do what you want." But what did people do? They started cribbing. What am I going to do with this time? I'm not able to go anywhere. I'm getting bored. I don't know what to do. But again, there were many who made use of this 24 hours. They
yeah,
immediately plunged into their passion. They discovered their capabilities. And also, one thing that every human being, every person has the potential to do everything. The limitations are only in our mind. But when we try, we are able to do. Maybe we do not reach that height, but we will come to this height, this level. So that is what, because for me also, everything's, speed up after COVID hit us, because I had 20. The first 1 week, I was a little shaken up. But after that, I said, "Ah, this is the time, I don't have to travel to work. I'm saving so much time. So I need to make use of it." I completed my book. I published 2020, my first book published. It
yeah.
did very well. And that motivated me. 2021, I published my second book. That did even more well. I was really happy. And then now in 2020, this is my third book. Within these 2 3 years, I have even co-authored in 13 books. There are another 5 books in the pipeline. So it's like becoming very exciting. So it's just not for me, but for everyone. And
Yeah.
I think that many people have found their potential and pursuing their passion.
Absolutely. And what is interesting, Olakananda, you talked about people not seeing stars. But
Yes.
during 2020, if you remember, we had fabulously clear skies full of stars, which we haven't seen in years. The lack of pollution, one of the positive effects. Also, I think COVID taught us to value people and relationships. Now, I'm going to talk about two stories of yours:
Yes.
cybercrime, protect yourself, and temptations when it's too good to be true. You've dealt with a raging problem in the world today, falling prey to cybercrime and fraud, usually because of our inability to resist the lure of what we think is a great deal. Share with our listeners what are some of the things that we need to look out for and guard against in this context.
Yes, sure. Uh, Let me tell you, with the lockdown that has happened, all of
Mm,
us were depending on internet completely. We were totally, our online shopping, our essentials, our medicines,
yes,
everything was online. We were consulting doctors online, everything. There, earlier we were working in office. Office has the firewall and proper protection which is being taken there. But in our house, we do not have that. And the cyber criminals, the thieves, the cyber thieves, they increase in leaps and bounds. And these stories, which I have, all my stories are based on real life incidents, all of them, because that has happened with me or happened somebody close to me, or I have seen people, neighbors, whoever. So they are all real life. And these stories which I have written are the truth. And it has happened. Cyber thieves have made use of these. We have to be careful. There are so many things, First of all, don't fall prey. When you're on social media, there are many unknown people who want to make friendship with you. Be very careful, because They might, and especially they look for knife people. They try to trap people with temptation.
Mm.
They try to trap people with, for example, say everybody have must have got SMSs that you can loan for 0% interest. You don't need to give any documents. This itself is a trap. How
Yes.
can you get a loan without document, and that was 0% interest? Again,
Mm.
if you look at say Instagram or maybe Facebook, I have seen a lot on Instagram, because Instagram, what happens is that people put their photos and videos in that. So there are a lot of pictures which go in there, and I have seen many in that. In fact, I have found in LinkedIn as well.
Mm.
You will always find somebody really charming and good looking, sending you a real high and all that.
Yeah.
Naive people will get trapped by that, and
Yeah.
then they will start speaking nicely about you and with you, and then they will ask you for your WhatsApp number. You start
Mm.
speaking to them on WhatsApp number. They will pretend that you're in love with. So all these things are not right. I will tell the people who fall trapped to this. Look very carefully. The person who is sending you hi, who's talking sweetly to you, go into his profile. You will most often find these people are either pilots, or they are either
Yeah,
seamen,
you
they
mentioned
are
that.
either in military or something. They are good looking people, they look like models, they are exercising, and they'll normally have a small child with them, as if they are single parent, and then what happens is that they will trap the person. They'll say that they are in love with them, and actually it's a huge gang which is running,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is one. There's another one where you get 0% interest. There are many naive people, they fall trap to that. And when
Mm.
people are really in need of money, they get caught by these temptations. You have to be careful. Don't click on any link which is not safe. Look at it. If it is HTTP, never click on that, because it is not safe. It has to be S. So there are so many things. Again, I don't know. At least I don't click on those, because sometimes we get this PDF and it shows many, channels, Amazon Prime, Netflix, this, that, and all that. And it's written there, click on any channel and you'll be able to see all their movies. I don't know how safe they are, but people do get carried
Mm.
away. Or maybe there might be some link which says you go to any part of the world and you click on that and you will see the place and it will take you on a tour and all that. Don't fall for all these things, don't fall for all these things. Just be very careful. Don't share your OTPs, don't share your details at all. Always be alert. Always be alert.
In fact, it's very interesting the way you've written about one such case, that you get the lure of you're going to get a gift. You have to
Yes,
pay a small amount to get that
yes,
very expensive gift, and you get
yes,
photographs of that gift. And then you
yes,
pay that, and then you ask for more and more.
yes,
So, yes, but I have to tell
yes.
you, I have fallen lure to that thing of go anywhere in the world during lockdown, see any city, but it's been a safe experience. So I think
Hang
the
on.
sad thing is that because people do cheat, there are
Yes,
genuinely wonderful offers out there that we feel scared about. So we
we
must
feel
learn how
scared.
to
Yes,
judge. Yeah.
yes,
Okay. Now, you've written about man woman relationships in a number of your stories. There's
yes,
Shumit and Urmi's marriage gone
yes,
sour. There's Rajni and Ravi's Think Before You Rush.
yes,
Sean and Anju in the
yes,
of
yes.
bedrock of marriage.
Marriage, marriage.
Avoid imposers, etc.
Yes,
Now, what would be your guideline for a good relationship between partners? And I want to read out some things that you've written here.
yes, sure.
The more you love, the more love you are given to love with. I found that a wonderful statement. Also, you've talked about infatuation is intoxicating, but love,
Yes.
on the other hand, gives you a feeling of being safe, supported, and cared for. So tell us a bit about relationships, because you have written about at length about
Yes.
relationships.
Yeah, actually. See, it's very important, because relationship, although all these stories that you mentioned are, mainly based on couples, marriage.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
based on married couple,
There are
basically.
also parents and
But
parents
relationships,
being treated,
yes,
etc. Yeah,
yeah, relationships can be anything, and but the thing is that all these relationships, these are happened. Why do why is it important for us to um, hold this relationship? Why is it important for us to have a healthy relationship with our partner, with whoever it is, our husband, wife, or partner? It is very important. First thing is that our relationship stands on the foundation of a lot of stuff. There is trust, there is respect, there's understanding, there's communication, there is a lot of things. In a relationship, we have to understand that trust is a huge factor. Understanding is also a huge factor. We have to understand that each of us come from different backgrounds. From our upbringing is different. Our
yeah,
likes and dislikes are different. We have to respect those. And if a person is in love with the other, they will understand these differences, they will respect it, and it has to be mutual. And secondly, you cannot impose your love on the other person, because maybe that person is feeling suffocated. You may feel that I love that person so much and I'm doing this and that and all, but maybe that other person is not used to that kind of love. And don't impose something which is wrong on the other person. Respect the other person's space, give their space, trust them. And trust, if you expect trust from your partner, you know value that partner as well, because the partner also trusts you. So don't break that trust. That is so very important in a relationship. And that is the reason all that which is happening in our world is all because all these uh, foundation is like shaking because of all these things. There are a lot of temptations are there because of this digital thing that we have in our hand. It is so easy to get tempted by so many things. And uh, like in Urmi's case, we had about it was about a mental stress. Husband and wife, he was not understanding. He was bullying her and stuff, and he was
what
getting a
is
craving.
really sad, what is really sad is that sentence when you said the mother-in-law stood by looking and never came to her support. Yeah,
And she did that to her support.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was really sad, and the way and what happened is that there are so many things which happened, because in her case, she was a victim of child molestation,
Oh,
and
okay.
she was a victim of child molestation. She was already into a kind of trauma internally over that, the way her husband was treating her. That was not very nice. Mother-in-law was not supporting her. She went into a nervous breakdown. To come out of that, she started smoking, she started drinking, maybe she took drugs to come out of that. But the thing is that she needs support. She needs somebody to understand her. Today she doesn't have a parent. She is the
Yeah.
only child. Where does she go? That is the time she turned to me and she said, "Can I call you mother?" You know, I feel so good. I feel so good. You cannot imagine. She said that, there's hardly much difference between your age and my age, but can I call you mom? I said, yes, please go ahead. And she said, can I open? And then anything happens, and my shoulders are there for her, my arms are there for her. So all these relationships, we have to respect each other. We have to respect each other, our trust, the space, the understanding for each other, and communication. It is so important. It is so important. Never, none of us are perfect. But when one partner is not doing well or is doing something wrong, don't shout at her or him. Tell him or her nicely that this is the way you can do it. Because and at least appreciate what good she is doing or he is doing. Don't always point out what is wrong. So I think there is a whole lot of more communication, and if people are having difficulties in their relationship and they want to repair it, it's always better you start kind of talking about those days which were when they had started. Go back into those days, let's go to that picnic, remember how we did that. It's like going back and then starting all over again. Again, people don't find the difference between infatuation and love, because there is a thin line that divides infatuation and love. Most of the time, youngsters, even old people as well, they feel when they like a person and they can't live without that person, they feel it is love. But love, but they have to think that when they think of that person, what comes in their mind as a priority. If physical relationship comes in their mind as the first priority, then it's definitely not love. It is definitely infatuation. Love is physical relationship as well as everything else: intimacy, emotional
Companionship,
intimacy, creative intimacy, spiritual intimacy, physical intimacy. So, love consists of all these things. And when you weigh both, you will realize that whether you are in love or whether you are infatuated.
infatuated. It's very important when you say communication. We all know, basically, we all know the lessons that you are reinforcing here, but we tend to forget. So, what you're doing is reminding us of what we grew up learning. And yes, we know that we should remember the good that people do before we accuse them, whether partners, parents, whoever. And there's one poignant story where you talk about forgiveness. This boy
Yes.
forgives his father who had abandoned them because he comes in old age. And he repairs his own soul. But the funny story that I just want to mention for our listeners is this one where the elder sister and the boyfriend take the younger sister for her exam in a place in Iceland, and they communicate to the driver a certain name. They obviously haven't communicated right. They all fall asleep. And when they wake up, they're in the boonies in the middle of nowhere. So that was a funny story about communication.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Um, Alakananda, I'd like to go through with you the process of your writing. What do you do? Do you keep observing people, taking notes? One. And how much of you is there in this book? How much of it
Okay.
is personal to you?
Yes. I realize that I observe people a lot, and people's story. You know, every person has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Every moment in our life is a story, which we normally overlook. We normally overlook in a daily life. But over a period of time, I started noticing these stories. It began with my own stories. My first book has a lot of my stories. My first book, I won't say it's a book, it's my emotion, because all my emotions came out in the form of stories in that. And and then I realized that every person has a story. I started
Yeah.
observing, I started seeing their reactions, what they are going through, and I started feeling within myself that, this there is this message to that, it should be like this, and that's how it actually started, that if I can share these stories, because these are all real stories. People will relate to it, people will connect to it. And when
Yeah.
I am writing, when I start writing these stories, I completely get emotionally involved with my stories. Sometimes I don't even realize that I'm crying, because when I finish writing, I realize that I've got tears flowing down my cheeks. And I
Yeah.
have seen that such stories, when somebody else has read it and they come back to me and say, "Oh, how I cried when I read your book, story," I really felt that I was able to connect with them. So yes,
Yeah.
I observe. I observe people. I observe every incident, and I have seen karma unfold in front of my eyes. Oh my God, you cannot imagine. And these are like, sometimes I just sit and I just speak to God. That God, what is this you are showing me? Like, so these are
Yeah.
things. And yes, these are all observations. And these are the things which I note down, which are always in my mind. And most of the time when I go for my walk, I listen to music, I start getting ideas. And if I have to start writing a story and something based on that, I normally use pseudonyms and pseudo plays and all that.
Yeah.
I don't use real names. I start thinking of how to write the story, how to begin it, because I need to grab the people. the reader's attention from the first sentence itself, because I don't want them to feel that they are reading an essay. Because what happened is that now everybody is talking of motivation, everybody is talking of inspiration. People are getting tired of that. When somebody says, oh, he's a motivational speaker or inspirational, they'll say, oh God, again bhashan. But the thing is that what I do is I use these stories to inspire the people. And how do I grab the attention of the readers? I start thinking of that, and then I start writing. Either I start writing or I start typing in that. The first book had a lot about me. The second book also had a few, some bit about, of some stories of me as well. The third book also has a few of my stories, people close to me, around me, my neighbors, my friends, family, the people I have seen, observed. So there is so much there is so much to observe. There is such a lot of stories. There is such a lot of inspiration. It's like we don't, need a direct, inspiring speech, because that gets very boring. But when people connect to the story and ultimately they are brought into that positive message, they understand it better because they have already connected with the stories emotionally. They have already connected. And when they have already connected, they understand the meaning of the message. I have so many people who had connected to me and they said that, oh, your story has really made a lot of positive difference in my life. I've started thinking differently. I've started doing this. Sometimes they would reach out to me and say, can we share your story? Maybe with my friend, with my sister, she's going through this. I said, yes, of course, my stories is for everyone. My mission as an author, my rebirth as an author, is
Mm.
to help people with my stories, because everybody is an author, everybody is writing stories.
Yeah.
But what value adding I'm to the society? I will also write, it will get lost, but what am I doing for the society? Why is this rebirth? What is the purpose of that? That is to
Yeah.
inspire people with my words so that I can help them. And like they say, let me think that word. It's right there, the moment it comes I will tell you. uh,
Okay.
so uh, so that is what. And yes, of course, all my books do have my stories as well. There are stories of other people, and yes, I observe a lot, and I have started observing a lot also.
Okay. I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to read the names of these chapters.
Yes, sir.
Just as it's really devastating to read chapters like greed, victims of emotional abuse, which is about the ill treatment of aged parents who are
Yes,
helpless,
yes,
parental guide conflict, which is about the effect that fights between father and mother can have on children.
yes, yes,
It is also uplifting to read stories like forgiveness and compassion, which is about Sabita, a domestic help
yes.
who very bravely saves the life of a young boy, sick boy, during the riots of 1984. Now, what are some of the simplest life lessons you would have propounded in the Melody of Hidden Symphonies in order to lead a more fulfilling life? There's so much that you've said. And one of the things you've said that I want to read out again, it's about us having self esteem and self respect. It says, self love and self belief are important for self motivation. So many lessons, so many things that you've told us, life lessons. Tell us some of the simplest ones that we need to remember to lead a better life.
See, let me tell you, there are all these things are very important. Compassion. We have to be
Yeah.
compassionate. It's very important. Because after
Gratitude.
all,
You
we
talked
are
about that.
yes. After all, we are human. We are the citizen of this world. We are all human. We are the citizen of this world.
Yeah.
There is no difference. The all the differences are man made. Ultimately we are all going to one god. It's so important to be compassionate. It is so important to be empathetic. It is I have written about forgiveness, which you said. I know forgiveness is very important, but it is very
Yeah.
difficult also, because when a wrong is done to a person, it is not easy for the person to forgive. It's not easy, because
But you
forgiving
said
is,
something very important, Alakananda. You said that
yes,
it's important to free yourself.
yes, it's not
Yeah.
easy to forgive, but the thing is
Yeah.
that it is important to free yourself from
Yeah.
what is pulling you down, because when you don't forgive the person, you are pulling yourself down. You are not able to move ahead, because you're mentally disturbed. You are not able to do. But the moment, see, you cannot forget, and and you shouldn't as well, because that has taught you life lessons. So first thing is that you cannot forget, but you can forgive. Let it be, let him go, leave it, because I know that their person, people say that next life you'll have to face karma, but I feel the karma is within this life. You have to face it before you leave this earth. And so that is there. Forgive, let God take care of the
Sorry.
person. Okay, whatever is required, let God take care of that person. So it's very important to forgive. What is easy to do is try to be empathetic, try to be compassionate, try to be kind with your fellow beings, with the living beings around you. It is very important. All life matters. We also show compassion. For example, all life matters. When I say that, then many will come up with, if there is, say, dog and a chicken in front of you, which life will matter?
Yeah.
Because both are lives. You look at dog, you want to love, it's a pet. You look at chicken, you look at chicken as if that chicken is your food. But the thing is that chicken also feels pain like us. Chicken also has fear. So there are all these things. But the thing is that it's very easy to be compassionate, empathetic,
Yeah.
and kind. Kindness, it doesn't cost anything, but the
In
person
fact,
receiving it, it's priceless. It's valuable for the person who's receiving it. When you are bringing a smile on someone's face, the happiness you feel within can be felt. You cannot
yeah.
express that kind of happiness. You have to feel it.
And I think what the most important message is the empathy, the ability to appreciate even the small things. It's so real, that
Yes,
incident you
agreed.
talk about at the airport, where this lady
Yes,
is on a wheelchair and would
yes,
have missed her flight if it hadn't been for that attendant who was really good. And those are the little things that we miss out in life.
agreed.
So,
Actually,
empathy, gratitude, forgiveness,
gratitude,
being able
kindness,
to
compassion.
self respect and dignity, and know how important it is to give it to others also.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
going to hand this over in a minute to Mona to ask questions. But first of all, I want to say thank you so much, Olakananda. This was a pleasure. I hope people are going to read the book when it's launched next month. I'm sure that it's going to be very enriching for them. And thank you so much, Ahava. This is wonderful, as always, Mona and Shushruto putting this together. Thank you. Over to you, Mona, to ask the question.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much,
there are a couple of
Oindrilla. It was such a
questions.
pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mona,
Before
for
I thank both of you for this wonderful and at such an engaging session, we learned so much. Oindrilla, I loved your questions. Olkanando, I loved the way you tackled Oindrilla's questions, the examples that you gave. And we are delighted today at Readers and Writers Club because I cannot tell you how many compliments have come from the
really,
viewers. Yes. Uh, I can't read them out because of lack of time, but quickly,
I'm
there
here.
are three questions.
Okay.
One is from Silki Adhikari. She says, your write ups are so real and your expressions are so simple that we can easily relate with them. How do you do so? So, will you take the first question? Then I'll read out the
Yes,
second one.
yes, sure, sure. Actually, I just, when I write, it's just what I am. There is no pretension in it. There is nothing. What I write is the way. things that have happened in real life, and every emotion are flow through my heart very simply. My words, if you see, my English is absolutely simple English. That is
Absolutely.
because I want to reach out to maximum people. I don't use much English jargons or difficult words, because I don't want people to go into Google to check the meaning of that. That spoils the flow of the story. Use simple words. Let the stories be lucid. Let it connect with people at an emotional level. That is my main focus. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for
much.
the question, Silky.
Thank you. The second
Two more
question
quick
is
questions.
from
I think we're about
Ritvika
time.
Banerjee. She says we heard the book is a sequel of your previous title. Is it so?
Uh, if you say so, but the thing is that my previous title was The Little Secrets to Big Joy. This one is The Melody of Hidden Symphonies. You can call it sequel, because even that book has short stories. That book has inspiring quotations, and of course I have added one poem as well. And this book also has the same thing, because there are so many stories, and short stories, people get time to read short stories in one go. Inspirational quotes, people relate to those. If they are inspiring, people relate to them very, very easily. And why I have, like in my earlier book was The Little Secrets to Big Joy, this was The Melody of Hidden Symphonies. Why? Because life is about experiences that are painted moment by moment and teach us deep rooted lessons. And understanding the little symphonies from these life experiences shapes up the melody in our life. And this is where the stories and the quotes in this book help the readers.
Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for that lovely answer. And the last question, again from Silki Adhikari, is what do you owe these people on whom your stories are based? I'm very curious to know.
Okay. See, I owe them tremendously. I owe tremendously to these people, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Because of them, I am able to. It's a learning for me as well. When I see people, the stories of other people, it's a learning for me as well, which I'm imparting to others. And had it not been for some of them who tried to do me wrong, I wouldn't have been an immersed woman today. I wouldn't have been a strong woman today. And today, I wouldn't have been an author of 3 books and co author of 13 books and master storyteller. I wouldn't have acted in short films. I never thought I will act, but I just thought, let me try. And there is so much more. So I owe tremendously to each and every person in real life on whom my stories are based, and I thank them a lot. And I specifically want to thank those people who have pushed me to become a strong woman.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much for those lovely answers, Oindrilla and Olakanando. A big thank you from Shushruto and I, and from the members of the Readers and Writers Club. You won't believe this, compliments are still coming in at
Thank
the
you
end of the
so much.
session. So that speaks for itself,
Thank
that
you.
how wonderfully Oindrilla conducted the session and how beautifully you
Thank you.
responded. So thank you
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
so
much
much.
to both of you, and God bless, and a very good evening to Oindrilla and Olakanando.
Thank you.
All
And
the
may our
best.
Thank
Hava
you,
go
Mona.
from
Thank
strength
you,
to
Mona.
strength. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Mona.
Oindrilla.
Thank you, Sushru. Thank you, Ava. And thank you to all the audience and
I
all my well wishers. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Andrela.
thank you.
Thank
Most
you. Bye
God
welcome.
bye.
bless.
Good
Thank you
night.
so much. Goodbye. Bye.